So, how you doing? This is well, it's just a B. Well, sorry, I get distracted very easily. So this is part 3 to Anchors and Stormy Seas. And so it's going out to Front Porch people, First Pres, FCA Lacrosse, the lacrosse community, Palm Beach Atlantic Lacrosse, Jupiter Christian, Dominican Republic, North Myrtle Beach, and whoever else I might know. So, really cool story. Last time I ended the video and I said, in the face of uncertainty, all that matters is that I belong to God. And I ended it by saying, and that's it. Well, my buddy, Peter Reed, sent this to a friend of his who forwarded to Father Jacobs in Hartford, Connecticut, and he gave me some feedback. So Father Jacobs is going out to you, brother. Thank you for your feedback. So at the end, I said that I belong to God, and then that's it. Well, Father Jacob said, no, that's not it. And the thought that I got from your feedback, and for all of us, is that I belong to God, like Paul talks about in the storm, but because I belong to God, therefore, guess what? I belong to everyone because I belong to God. And so it doesn't just stop there. I belong to God. Then that's it. It really isn't it. So thanks, Father, for that super important adjustment. I can take off my glasses. All right. So we're talking about uncertainty. And so in uncertainty, the thought is God is sovereign. So God is sovereign in all our uncertainty. And Keegan's videoing right now. Hey, Keegan, what's up, buddy?
What's up?
How you doing? You good?
I'm good.
How's the storm treating you?
It's good.
Yeah, nice talking to you. That's good stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Love you, man. Thanks for doing this, by the way, Keegan. I love it. So in the face of uncertainty, God is sovereign. So God is sovereign over my uncertainty, your uncertainty. So let me read from Acts 27, and it says this. In the midst of the storm, Acts 27, verses 21 through 25. Since they had been without food for a long time, Paul stood up among them and said, men, you should have listened to me and not have set sail for Crete and incurred this injury and loss. Yet now I urge you to take heart, for there will be no loss of life among you, but only the ship. For this very night there stood before me an angel of God to whom I belong. So Paul says, I belong to God, and whom I worship. And he said, do not be afraid, Paul, you must stand before Caesar, and behold, God has granted you all of those who sail with you. So, again he says, take heart, take heart. Men, for I have faith in God that he will do exactly as he has been told and he's promised us. So, when I think about it, verse 23 talks about, to whom do I belong? Well, I belong to God. Therefore, as we talked about earlier, I belong to everybody. It means my neighbors over here, around my neighborhood where I'm sailing out to sea here and making sure that we don't crash, is when I've set sail and see all these neighbors around the lake right now, all these neighbors, I belong to them. You belong to your neighbors. And so that's the beautiful thought is, yeah, I belong to God, but by belonging to God, we belong to each other. And so then in verse 24, he said, be not afraid. My buddy Peter Reed, it's a Reedism. Fear is false events appearing real. Guess what? This thing we're in, oh, it's real. It's real, all right. Do you agree? This coronavirus, COVID-19, it's real. It's not like fake. It's real. The other thought is, yep, we're not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy. No longer. So it's a new day that we live in. So how do we respond? Or how do we live our lives with storms that are uncertain? So these are some of the responses I came up with. First, we try to control it. That's tough. How's that working? Second, we try to plan for it. So the other day in Costco, we picked up some Spam. And Spam is one of those things I used to eat with my dad, so it's a lot of memories. But we plan. We might hoard, unfortunately. We collect stuff. We make sure we don't run out of stuff, so we plan. And that's tough. I don't know how that's working for us. Next thing is we're crippled by it. It cripples us or it paralyzes us. We can get stuck in hopelessness, and that's a sad state. And so that's why we need one another. We belong to God, but to one another. So therefore, in hopelessness, we need to be there for one another. And then last, we trust in the Lord. And we don't lean on our own understanding. So what does it mean to trust in the Lord? Well, here are my questions. I trust, but one of my thoughts is, how long, O Lord? We're heading to the other side of the bank, so I'm going to get us back to the middle so I can drop anchor in a second. So the one is, how long, O Lord? That's one of my questions. How long will I be in the storm? The second one is, Lord, here I am. Can you use me? Is there some way you can use me? Can I help someone else row their boat? I like that. Row their boat. So, and the last one is, God, what are you up to? Like, God, what are you up to in these stormy seas? Because you're up to something. God's up to something. He's teaching us stuff. So I guess the hope is that somebody, some of us, all of us, are interacting with God in such a way where He's helping us understand what He's doing. So our opportunities as the body of Christ. One, we become agents of hope. It's Friday, but Sunday's coming. Two, we share wisdom or peace. Think biblically with people. To share peace with people. To share wisdom with people that we gain. And so we think biblically about this event. Third, we tell faith stories. We tell stories. We tell stories of God's faithfulness, and they come from our heart. That's huge, right? That we tell stories from our heart. And then finally, we serve or we love. We're other focused. So what do? We drop anchors. In verse 29, it talks about the folks dropped 4 anchors. So we're dropping anchors. We're dropping hope. We're dropping peace. We're dropping faith. We're dropping love. Just like I'm going to throw this anchor overboard. That's what we're doing. We're dropping anchor. Ready? We gotta drop anchors. We gotta throw the anchor overboard. Because that's what it's about. Kill it, Keeks.